Alright, so this I think is going to be the last video in the rigging series. It's something that uh, I wanted to do originally, but I just put it off and put it off. So I figured now will be a good time to go ahead and come back to it. And I'm going to go ahead and create a biped and go into figure mode. I'm going to load up the same guy as before and get out of figure mode. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to, well, first off, I'm going to go ahead and select them and go Tool, Snapshot. Make sure that's Mesh, hit OK. And since I'm selected on the biped and I'm still seeing Character Studio over here, I'm going to hit Delete. And now we are back to the kind of mesh that we had before. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to, instead of using IK for the fingers so that they bend and everything, I'm going to actually show you how to use the ReactionManager so that we can control the bending of the fingers with just a slider. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this one. So you should be good as to how I got to this point. So the first thing I'm going to do, we have to figure out what object do we want to pick on when we're animating. Which object will we like to select on that would give us the ability to access the fingers so that they can, easily control the bending of the thumb, all the fingers, what have you. And I think that the hand is a pretty good one. If we had our circle constraint that we had with our hand, when it was like this, that's actually controlling because of the IK and everything. It could be on here. It's up to you. As the animator, it's whichever one you feel like would be the best one. Okay, so I'm going to say the hand. Okay, so I'm going to go to my motion or to my modify panel, and I'm going to add the attribute holder modifier. And as you see, there's no parameters for it at the moment, and that's because we are going to add them ourselves. We're going to customize this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the animation panel, and we're going to go down to parameter editor, and we're under attribute. Make sure that it is set to selected object's current modifier, and we come down here for the parameter type. We see we have a float, which is a actual number. We have all these different things that we can use to control. A float is what we want for this particular thing. UI type is a spinner or a slider. We want to use a slider. And really don't even need to worry about any of these things. Basically, this is what it's going to look like right here. So for name, we're going to go ahead and call this pointer finger. And like I say, we really don't need to worry about anything else down here. You can if you want to. I mean, obviously you can set the range. How wide do you want this thing to be? Blah blah blah. I'm going to, well, let's redo. Okay, so I'm just going to leave them alone as they are. So we're going to have a float for the parameter, which is basically just a number. We're going to use a slider for the UI type, and we're going to name it pointer finger, and now we hit add. Okay, and I think it was 160, so let's delete that one. Okay, I think 160 was where it was, so let's try this again. Shouldn't have messed with it. Pointer finger, float, it's a slider. There we go, fits back on the screen. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and do it again. I'm going to say middle finger, float and a slider, pinky finger, add, and we'll end with thumb, add, and now we can close the parameter editor. So this is how we are going to control our fingers. So whenever we want to bend them or whatever, we're going to click on the hand, and here we go, we have access to them. Now how are we going to tie these guys together? We're going to do that with the ReactionManager. The easiest way to get to it is to hold down the Alt key and right click, and right here in the bottom right quad we have ReactionManager. So go ahead and click that, and we have a nice little window here that can seem pretty confusing, I'm sure, but if we take it in pieces, you'll get to understand it. So the first thing we're going to do, making sure that our hand is selected, the thing that has all of our attributes on there, and the first thing we're going to check here is the Add Master, and pick the hand, and we come down and we see we want to use the hand, but we want to drive it with the current object's modified object, attribute holder, custom attributes, pointer finger. Okay, so this is the master that is going to drive what happens here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and double click on the finger, the top bone, to select all of them, and I'm going to come right here for add selected, transform objects, rotation, Z rotation. Okay, so what that did was that added slave right here. Said here's the master, these are going to be the slaves. Starting and end value, is it going to be a curved, yes or no, which ones they are, and the Z rotation. Now why did I pick Z rotation? One, because I've done this a few times, but also because if I go into rotate on local and I rotate this, and and I've already set the attribute, so let me do another finger that hasn't been. So if I select on rotate local and on this finger and I rotate it the way that I want it to go, I see that it's the Z axis, either here or up there, that's being changed. So I know that it's the Z axis for rotation that I want to control. Alright, so let me undo again, make sure that everything's back to the way that it was. Alright, so let's just go ahead and add transform, rotation, Z rotation. Okay, now, so as we add it, we come down to this next window here, and we'll go ahead and click on create mode. Alright, and this is basically like it's going to record what we're going to do. And what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'm going to go ahead and rotate this finger into the position that I would like for the far slider position to look like. So mainly this is going to be on the slider, this is going to be the far right. And then so this is what I would like for it to look like. So I now hit create state, and I'm going to now click on the hand and slide this over to the left, and I will now come in here and rotate this into the position that I would like for this one to look like. And notice it's going to be kind of hyper extended farther than I probably will ever have it go. Same thing as the other one. That was probably farther than I'd want it to go, but that's a pretty good one right there. And then I'll hit create state, and I'll get out of create mode, and if I pick on the hand, we can see that we have control of it. Now you'll see that as I pull this back towards the left, it hits the position and then it pops back. It's an easy fix if we come down to the third window and I'm just going to select on this guy right here, and I'm just going to move this to the left. So we see there's the 0, and I'm just going to pull that all off. And now you'll see that we have full range of motion with this finger. Okay, so now I'll just leave it however I want. So that's how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and do another one so you can see how I do this again. So I'm going to add a master. It's going to be this object's custom middle finger. I know that's off screen, but I can still see it. Okay, and now I'm going to select on the middle fingers and come over here to add selected, transform rotation, Z rotation. Okay, you can close this pointer finger if you want to. Alright, so we've now added it. I know that this guy's over here to the right, so we'll come down and we'll go into create mode. We use our rotate, and again we will rotate this guy into the position that we would like for it to be at the far end of the slider, and we hit create state, pick on the hand, slide it to the other side, rotate it into the position that we want, create state, and now we get out of create mode and let's take a look-see. Okay, so again it does a little pop, so we go back, select on these guys. It doesn't matter how far, as long as it's one tick past 0 it'll be fine. Okay, so one more time, going to add a master, which is going to be the hands, modified objects, the pinky finger, and double click on these guys, going to add selected, rotation, Z rotation. Okay, I know my slider's all the way over here, so we go into create mode. Make the rotation we'd like to see, hit create state, pick on the hand, slide it all the way over, create state, get out of create mode, and we see there it is, and it pops, of course. We pull that off to the side, and there we go. So I hope that that you got something from this. See how easy it is to do that. Obviously you can do the thumb. The biggest thing is you just want to make sure that your axes, the way that you want to have them rotated, are the same. And you know, it doesn't have to just be this one axis like you see. It can also be the rotation of the objects going in and out like this. You can do that, set that up as an attribute. You know, just go in there and call it pointer finger side to side, middle finger side to side, whatever, and you can have full control over all the fingers from this one object right here. But that's about it. We'll go ahead and leave this alone. And for now, I think that that you see kind of how it works, and I hope that you find it to be pretty useful. I know that I used it uh, so very often in the last animation I did, cost of entry. So uh, have fun with it, and remember that it's just remember kind of the point of what you're doing here and why you're doing it is you want to, and this can be, if you wanted to, it could be a box sitting off here to the side. you know this object could have the attribute holder on it, and it could drive the hand. So whenever you wanted to fold the fingers up, no matter where this character is, you select on this box right here and it'll do it. But to select on an object that's going to drive the rotations or the positions or anything of another object, you would want to use the Reaction Manager. And we could do the same thing here, that give the total control over how the arm works. That when it rotates forward, this guy's going to bend too. I mean, there's all kinds of applications here. So have fun with it, and I'll see you next time.